A short while away from New Orleans City sit the swamps. Those magical, mysterious wetlands that feed off the Mississippi and make up such a large swath of Louisiana. Think of them as backwaters, though here they're known as the Bayou. It can be humid and is, I'm told, at its most evocative when smothered in fog and mist. It was a clear day when I headed out. Blue skies, blue waters, the Spanish moss surrounding it. I couldn't understand how it could possibly be more beautiful, but apparently it can. Come here for gator spotting, nature watching, or just the spectacle of it.
The word bayou, it comes from a Choctaw word, a Native American word. It's called bayak. And bayak translates directly into winding water. So a bayou is natural drainage that has no typical direction. Historically, bayous were scars in the earth from the Mississippi River overflowing its banks. Well, you can think of a swamp as being a flooded forest. And they call this a cypress tupelo swamp because those are the two most abundant trees.
And there's mystery here too, the suggestion sometimes of things otherworldly.
You know, it just has that mysterious look with all the Spanish moss hanging down. There's a lot of fog on the river, you know, in the early morning or in the early afternoon at night. It just gives it that real mystical look about it.
But the real fun happens when you move off the highway, so to speak, into the smaller pockets. This is swamp, real swamp, that moss, the light that filters through, the still silence while underneath it's teeming with activity. This, people, is the beating heart of Louisiana.
This is where people come to catch crawfish, snapping turtles, and frogs.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, back in this environment. This is the beginning of the food chain. These nutrient-rich waters that flow down into our estuaries at the beginning of the food chain. They feed microorganisms, that feed macroorganisms, that feed little invertebrates, that feed our other fish. And the wetlands, the marshes, the estuaries further south of us are the nursery for all of our shrimp, crabs, oysters, speckled trout, redfish, flounder.
And all because of this?
All because of this.
Well, since I hadn't had much luck gator spotting, I was introduced to a passenger I didn't even know was along for the ride.
You just drive around here with alligators in your boats?
Apparently, this is New Orleans and that's how they roll.
Oh, look at you, that you're gonna grow up to become a stone killer, but you're so cute right now.
Little baby dinosaur.
I know it's kind of mean what I'm doing, but it's still, you're so cute. I hope you don't grow up and become a handbag. That would not be nice.
Or gumbo.
Or gumbo. I may have eaten one of your cousins the other day.
Oh dear. But on the bright side, that is a fate he gets to escape. He does have a brighter future than, well, stew.
Once they're a little bit larger size, we'll just return them to the wild.
Okay, they don't become sausage, right?
No.
And better yet, he has good odds of surviving too.
They have pretty small brains. However, they are the most intelligent of all the reptiles.
We'll just call him Einstein then. And I know it's a cliche, but I have to go with it. Son of a gun, I had big fun on the bayou. And I'm not done yet. You see, lives are built here around all this. Creatures great and small, and those who, well, live off them. Yes, ever in search of something to sate my hungry stomach, I decided there was no point in spending time here without reaping some of its culinary benefits. I was looking for some country cooking, but instead found this, palmettos on the bayou. This is no country cousin of a restaurant, I discovered. This is an elegant, charming, delightful place with some of the best tables in town. That's right, that's my seat beside the bayou. You have to admit it's a pretty magical setting, and as I settle in with Chef Daniel Bourgault, I discover how the food manages to match it.
It's an idea that we want to try to match the concept of the bayou, where at the same time you're upscale and nice and rustic. We are located on Bayou Bonfica, which connects to Lake Pontchartrain and then eventually the Gulf of Mexico. Nice. So we get a huge influx of different seafoods depending on the tides, depending on the rain, right here in our own backyard. To just simply match the background and the setting. It really is a unique experience to come here. You're in a city and yet you feel completely in the country.
You really, really do. I start then with some striking picayo pepper, slightly sweet, slightly smoky pepper that's stuffed with cream and shrimp and lobster. I know, they do nothing by halves here. And if you want more proof, look at these. These are their crawfish beignets. Now, the last time I saw these, they were sweet and drowning in sugar. Here they are, savory, succulent, and served with an Asian sauce. Plenty of exciting and so very good.
Been blessed with is a very good background. I've worked for some really good chefs, and so I've taken their creative ideas and just brought them home. And then take the history of what we've had here, blended it into the menu. Beignets are just French donuts, and I want to do my own little twist on it. We added a bunch of crawfish and crab meat to it, and then the sauce itself, because the Vietnamese are big in our community as well, so we try to blend all those flavors together.
The difference between Cajun and Creole is a subtle thing. Cajun is seen largely as more country, more rustic in both origin and execution. This then is the amped up version. So take this oyster stew with persilade. Persilade is a seasoning of fresh herbs, parsley, garlic and so forth that is another vital facet of Cajun cooking. The stew is hearty, it's rich, it's potent, it's brimming with brine and freshness.
I don't know the connect, I'm not familiar with it. But I'm sitting here against it and I somehow feel like every bite makes me think of this. And that's a lovely thing.
Well, it connects us all.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's through feeding us, through just paddling down the bayou to the neighbor's house.
Right.
You know, it's a waterway that's the original streets of Louisiana.
Yeah.
It just has always connected us. And then knowing that it's full of life at the same time is just a wonderful gift that we do have around here that I think we take for granted sometimes.
I'm not about to. I'm just thrilled with the shrimp remoulade in its kicky sauce stacked with fried green tomatoes. But I have to admit I was blown away once again by the gumbo. That's not a surprise to me. It was a seafood one this time, rich and deep and delicious. The incredible flavor coming from stock and roux and that wonderful Cajun holy trinity of bases, celery, bell pepper and onion.
My family, we're very big Catholics, and I mean, I always grew up just knowing that as the Holy Trinity.
So in the name of the celery, the pepper, and the onion slice, amen.
Exactly.
One of us is going to get into trouble for that.
No,
but I have to say,
I think they would love that.
Yeah, I have to say it's worth saying a prayer to goodness, fried green tomatoes.
These waters that I eat of are life-sustaining waters, so not surprisingly much of the menu is built around them. And I have absolute proof. This bowl, a hearty tomato and bell pepper sauce seasoned well, a dash of smoke and as its star, gator. Yes, my earlier friend all growed up and made into a stew. I feel a bit bad, but darn good stew too.
Okay, I feel a little bad because this might be Einstein's uncle that I'm about to take a bite out of. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to feel too bad because I'll tell you why. Einstein, if he could, or Uncle, if he could, would happily take a bite out of me or any other thing, right?
Yes.
So I think it's fair. What we should feel bad about, if we're going to feel bad about eating, are the animals that don't actually kill us back.
I agree with that.
Don't you think? So yeah, I'm not feeling too bad. Einstein was cute and all. Let's find out if he's tasty too. He is tasty.
Yeah, he is.
Also tasty, their catfish, topped with their special seafood sauce and shrimp and more of those lovely beignets. This is a whole other world, this setting, this table, this way of life.
Here is food that seems like every plate has a connection, direct or indirect, with it, but at the same time it's playful and it's whimsical, and it is, you know, if you haven't been paying attention, just flat out delicious. So, yay.
Well, for here, cooking is life. You know, it is our way of life. By the time you're done breakfast, you're already looking forward to what's for dinner and what are you making for dinner. And then by the time you're done dinner, you're looking forward to breakfast.
Yeah.
And we never stop thinking about it. That is the Louisiana way of life. You know, we make beignets every morning with the kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, and then gumbo, it's an absolute way of life down here.
And it's a good one. So yes, a little city flair given to country cooking goes a long, long way, I can attest. In the meantime, there's someone bringing a bit of country to city life too. Cochon Butcher by Chef Donald Link is already an institution, much like its sister fine dining concern next door. Cochon means pig in French, and as I meet Chef Donald, already a legend here, it takes me about a second to figure out that that's exactly where his heart lies. And if you have any doubt about it, just look to its giant counter spilling over with more meat than you've likely seen in a while. We start with the deli section, which bears more goodies than I can hope to describe, but I was drawn irresistibly to the one where they celebrate the many marvelous things that emerge from Cajun country.
And this is more of the Cajun part. You got the boudin, the andouille, which we'll taste, country smoke. This is a deer sausage based on my grandparents' recipes.
For those wondering about the Cajun Creole difference, here's everything you need to know.
The answer is that Creole is a mixture of French, Spanish, Caribbean, whereas Cajun is more of a subsection of that, which is an area about 2 hours west of here, called Cajun country, and its influences are mostly French and German, and a lot of simple, more country-style one-pot cooking.
I can't wait to dive in. You, however, will have to, but just for a bit, because on the other side, what treats that table holds for us.